shores for more than 7,000 years, gathering shellfish, catching fish, and diving for pearls. Our hearts beat to the rhythm of the sea. These waters contain a wealth of the finest fish, sea bream, tuna, and hammoud. Our forefathers made their nets and fish traps from woven palm leaves. Their boats were made of palm sticks bound together with rope. Sudden storms and high winds meant that fishing was dangerous but rewarding work. Fish that wasn't eaten immediately was hung up to dry or preserved and sold. Some of it we ate, and some we exchanged with traders for other things like tea and rice. Most of our homes were arish, made of date palm sticks and mats, although some were built with materials from the seashore, coral stone and lime cement. Their walls reflected the heat of the sun. Inside, the rooms stayed cooler in the midday heat. Camels hold a special place in our hearts. We honor these royal and noble creatures which can endure the blazing desert heat for days without food or water. They are a vital source of meat and milk. Their dung is used as food. Their hair to weave tents, rugs and bags. Their leather to make straps and sandals. The camel is truly a gift of God, perfectly adapted to life in the desert. These camels have been loaded with dates, dried fish, household goods and food. They used to cover huge distances to reach the oases inland at Liwa and Al Ain, along routes that camels have traveled for generations. Camel trains carried wood, charcoal, food and fodder back and forth between the coast and the inland oases, bringing much needed supplies. They also transported whole families every year from the coast to the oases to escape the worst of the summer humidity. This is what makes camels happy. In the desert they can smell water from many miles. This oasis is fed by cool underground springs and a network of phalanges, man-made channels which bring water from the mountains. Here we produce dates, cereals, vegetables, fruit and fodder. It's a kind of paradise, cool and tranquil. At night the birds settle in the safety of the trees and you have to keep a watchful eye for the snakes and scorpions. The camel-raising Bedouins were nomadic during the months of good grazing and would settle around oasis wells in the summer. Many would live in traditional desert tents made of woven cloth. These were furnished with rugs and divided into separate quarters for men and women. Here, in the food preparation area, women used cauldrons and bread-making pans to make the family meal. Next door, in the majlis, the men would meet in the evening to talk and drink coffee. Our ancestors began to settle here more than 5,000 years ago, and they made the most of the world around them. Copper mining was one of the earliest industries here. Miners hammered away at rocks with handmade tools to uncover seams of copper ore in the mountains. Sometimes they would use fire to crack the rock face. It was a dark, dangerous place too. Once mined, the copper ore was heated to separate the copper from the ore, a process known as smelting. Molten liquid copper was poured into molds to make tools, weapons and jewelry. Once the casts had cooled, they were hammered into shape.
Settle down, please, children. Turn to page 17. Can anybody tell me what they see here?
Please, sir.
Ahmed?
The man is diving for pearls. My great-grandfather was a pearl diver. He could hold his breath for ages. He taught me to swim and dive. One day, I'd like to be a diver too.
I told you, Ahmed, the seas are now blue. In the last while they were ones. Some of the men never visited. The divers were weighted down as they plunged to the shallow banks to search for oysters. It was a dangerous job, with stinging jellyfish, sharp corals, and no breathing food. But luckily, might establish a family's fortune. To keep their spirits up, the Niham would chant to inspire the pearls, leading them all in songs which marked each stage of their work. Since oil was discovered in the Emirates more than 40 years ago, Abu Dhabi has become one of the world's major oil fields. Much of this oil comes from under the sea. A network of offshore the underwater platforms are maintained by highly skilled commercial divers. They wear protective suits and dive to the seafloor to work on the pipes, moving through the murky waters amongst the fishes and creatures of the sea. It is hard, skilled work on the oil drilling platforms. Highly trained men operate the drills, pumps, and other heavy machinery, extracting crude oil. Abu Dhabi today is an emirate to be proud of. There is so much to do in this dynamic, lively capital. Busy streets, shopping malls, markets, hotels, a fantastic waterfront, beautiful mosques, magnificent fountains and gardens. In little over a generation, Abu Dhabi has been transformed into one of the great trading and business centers of the world. This is now a vibrant cosmopolitan city with a proud heritage rooted in the traditions and values of its desert and sea-going origins.